GPS Dairy Consulting presents Ahead of the Herd, a GPS DairyCAST presentation. Hosted by King Hickman and Paul Dyke, with Peggy Coffeen of the Up Level Dairy Podcast. Sponsored by Alltech, working together for a planet of plenty.
At Alltech, we believe agriculture has the greatest potential to shape the future of our planet. Every cow, every herd, and every farm plays a vital role in nourishing people and sustaining the land we all depend on. As a family-owned company, we share the same values that guide dairy producers: caring for animals, being good stewards of the land, and building a legacy for the next generation. As a worldwide leader in agriculture, Alltech provides solutions from the ground up, backed by science and meeting your local needs with our global expertise. Together, we can provide nutrition for all, revitalize local economies, and replenish the planet's natural resources. Dairy is more than milk. It's community, stewardship, and a brighter future. Alltech, working together for a planet of plenty.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special live edition of the GPS DairyCAST series, Ahead of the Herd. Today we have Paul and King taking on some of the biggest questions shaping producer profitability heading into 2026. They will be unpacking what dairies need to watch, where the biggest risks lie, and where new opportunities just might be emerging for you. And don't worry, we brought backup for this conversation. We've got two experts who will be joining the table. Two people who live in the numbers and the trends every single day from Agri-Growth Solutions, Steve Bodart and Gabriella Hodek. So settle in. You're going to leave this episode more informed, more prepared, and more confident on the road ahead. Take it away, boys.
Welcome back to Head of the Herd, coming to you live from Minnesota. No flies in Minnesota.
No flies,
King.
no flies.
Not like Sheldon. Big crowd. Big energy. And in a milk market, anything but predictable.
That's right. If you thought 25 kept us busy, 2026 is shaping up to be a year where being proactive isn't optional, it's survival. Fat values shifting, price pressure everywhere, new FMMO rules. Paul, it's a full plate.
Good news. We're hungry. We brought forks.
All right. Should we get into it?
Let's go.
All right. Today, we're zeroing in on 4 questions producers everywhere are asking, all tied to one theme: how do we protect profitability when the playbook keeps changing?
We've talked a lot about resilience in this, and so one question that's number one, processors are pulling back from their focus on butterfat. How will that reshape economic signals and change what producers should be optimizing for?
Question number 2, with milk prices sliding into 2026 and less upside on fat premiums, what becomes the best pathway to maximizing income over feed cost?
3, related to that, how do income over feed cost strategies adjust from summer to winter and feeding summer to winter?
And 4, with the final federal milk marketing order rule changes now fully active, how do producers prepare and protect themselves in this new system?
Well, to tackle all of this, we've brought in 2 experts who spend their days deep in milk checks, markets, and margins.
But before we get started, we're going to be using Slido again this year to collect.
Oh, I love Slido.
Slido. Who doesn't like Slido?
It's on your phone.
It's on your phone. You can scan that barcode and get into Slido, and you can submit your questions there. We'll get them up here. We've also got some coming on the listener mailbag. With that, let's bring in Gabriella Hodek and Steve Bodart. Welcome, Gabriella, Steve.
Thank you.
From Agri-Growth Solutions. We're happy to have you guys here. We think you can give us some great answers to these questions and probably a lot more coming. So let's get started.
All right. Processors are clearly de-emphasizing butterfat. What economic indicators should producers be watching for right now?
Yeah, I think We can narrow down on a lot of different parts of butterfat right now. We're going to get into pricing later, and that factors into a lot of our recommendations right now. Looking at butterfat, if we want to isolate just looking at how processors are treating it, one of our first points right now is we're not going into panic mode. As of right now, across our client base, we have one processor that truly has a butterfat cap in place and deductions for it. So keep that in mind as we look at this. We're only seeing it on a limited basis at this point. Another thing that we want to keep in mind is we don't know if other processors put that rule into place, what the deductions would be. So the current one is they're not going to pay over 4.5, which would be a different strategy, say if somebody was going to pay over 4.5, but just with a smaller deduction. So the strategy could definitely vary based on what a processor puts into place. So I think number one, it's going to be really important if that does happen to your dairy to understand what that rule is going to look like. So that's kind of where we're starting out with it.
What do you think is going to be the new target for fat and protein on dairies going forward?
The new target for fat and protein.
Is it different than today? I mean, should they be thinking about something different than they did 2 years ago?
Because of processors or because of where butterfat is, I think is going to be what's
maybe
going to vary.
both, right?
Or even a fat plus protein. Do we still shoot for the same number? Or?
One of the items Steve and I have been talking about is shooting for that same combined fat and protein, but it might be a smaller percent fat, right? We might be at a lower percent fat. We might be at that 4.3 as opposed to being at 4.6. So diluting it out a little bit over more pounds of milk.
Anything to add, Steve?
I would say just adding on to that, every month as these values vary, what we say today could be different 2 or 3 months from now again. We look at butterfat just in the 10 months of this year, it has decreased in value by over 40%, and that doesn't mean that it couldn't go back up 40% in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
What are you hearing about what's the cap at for the producers that you're working with? I kind of know where it is, but why don't you share where that is roughly, what the cap is?
Yep, the producers that we're working with that have a cap, they're capped at 4.5, and so they pay butterfat on the check over and above the 4.5, but then they just deduct it at the end, so you really aren't paid for butterfat over 4.5.
Now, what's amazing is 20 years ago, 4.5 would have sounded like astronomical, and now we have herds that are at a 4.6 or a 4.7, and it really is a tough situation for those producers, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's definitely influenced too what percent of your milk check is basis as well, because we're that much farther over what class 3 is defined as.
One other question I kind of had, I've seen some other places, one place in Iowa that does a ratio.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that, Steve? Or?
So that would come back to your cheese yield.
Yep.
Is generally what they're looking at there, and there is an ideal butterfat to protein ratio that they look at. And so if you're there, if your protein is high enough, your butterfat might be able to be over a 4.5.
New challenges for us all.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's talk a little bit about income over feed costs. So with milk prices trending lower, less upside in the fat premiums, where should producers focus to protect their margin now?
So just like any time, right, we ebb and flow in markets both on the feed side of that equation and on the revenue side of the equation. So for us across clients, we're still going to be looking at income over feed cost and narrowing in on the different parts then of that equation. Obviously, a year ago today, milk fat was providing us a lot more on the revenue side, so paying for that on the feed cost side, depending on what the expense was, typically paid off a little bit more. So conversations that we're having with clients today is, what are you putting in the diet to get that extra fat, to get that extra 1/10 of a pound, and is it paying off on the revenue side? Because we've gone from a year ago, I think we had about $3 a pound of fat, and now we're down in October at $1.83. So there's a pretty big swing in what that butterfat is worth. So once again, looking at exactly what the target is by herd is going to vary, because some herds naturally are going to have a higher butterfat than others. So it's going to be looking at what are you adding to the ration and what's the extra expense of that extra butterfat, and is it paying off?
So, for example, one of these herds that has the 4 or 5 cap and they're at a 4.3, should they still try to get that extra 0.2?
A lot of times it depends on what it takes to get there,
Right.
is going to be a big part of that answer to that question.
Yeah. So it depends on what it costs and
Yeah.
what it's worth.
Exactly, and I think you got to make sure you're looking at all the pieces that put together that income over feed cost. If we're looking at the feed side, you're looking at the pounds of feed times the cost per pound. And if you're looking at the milk side, you're looking at the pounds of milk plus the value of that milk. So how do those all interrelate?
Sure.
And there could be times that what's good for this farm is not good for the next farm.
Yeah.
You know, Steve, we talked earlier today, and one of the things I thought was really interesting was we haven't seen fat prices projected to be at this level for how many years?
2013 was the last time that protein had a higher value on the milk check than butterfat.
It's going back a decade, right?
Yes.
Going back in time just to try to remember what we did back then. And the cows aren't the same today, are they? They're just not the same cows.
Genetics have changed things so dramatically in the last decade.
What I'm struck by is, we have these cows that are producing 4.7. It's going to be really hard for the nutritionists, I think, because we have cows in the pipeline for the next 3 years that really want to produce 5.0 butterfats. I mean, it's going to be a challenge where we're capped on that butterfat. It's going to be a new world.
Yes, that is very true. But you guys need a new challenge.
We've been bored. Yeah, we haven't had anything to do for 10 years, Steve. Thanks.
Yeah, what are you going to do, Paul?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll figure it out, I guess. Right? There are good strategies. We have a lot of things in the back pocket to address that, but it's going to be about cutting costs. It's
Right.
going to be about pulling palms. There's other things that we can do, but it's going to be a little bit of experimentation because we definitely want to bring it back to a 4 or 5 if we have to.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want to go to a 4 or 4 though. I mean, we don't want to give up that amount of money, right? So it's like we don't want to give up 20 cents of income, so we don't have a deduction, right? So
Right.
it's gonna be
We don't want to give up 20 cents of income unless we're giving up 25 cents of expense.
Right. Yep. It's gonna be a lot of math there.
So there's going to be a lot of calculations that have to be done. And again, as I said earlier, just depending on how those prices change, it may be different 6 months from now than today.
Tell me a little bit more about summer versus winter strategies, income over feed cost. I think there's been a lot of consistency over time in how we do rations. What's your thought process there, summer versus winter, especially with where the markets are at?
As I look at that and think about summer versus winter, I think, number one, with the lower butterfat prices, there may be times that we don't want to be pushing it as hard as what we have been, but I also think we need to go back and look at the management and at the facilities that these producers have even closer to see if this is really theoretically possible to get that type of components out of that operation during our summer heat.
Yeah, you know what? I can't forget about, I think it was June 21 this year. June
Yes, it was.
21 and June 24 is when the calls started coming in, right?
Yes.
You know, the cows have crashed 7 to 12 pounds all across Wisconsin and parts of Minnesota and South Dakota, right? I mean, we don't forget about that. And it's not feed strategies, right? Always. It's about cow
Exactly.
comfort. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So, one of my favorite topics, the federal milk marketing order.
Oh, that's going to be fun. I can't
just
wait.
love it.
Can't
Yeah.
wait, King.
I study it religiously, yeah. Haven't understood it ever, but you will. So with the changes, they're now fully in effect, right? December 1st.
December 1st.
Everything went into effect.
Most were in effect as of the end of June.
June, right,
Yep.
yeah. So producers are asking, what they need to prepare for. What's your take?
Great question. I think from our perspective, a lot in terms of like how you can prepare, how can you protect yourselves, we're still going to be using a lot of those same risk management strategies. as we look at the effects of what the changes in the FMMO has done, and especially here in the Midwest, with the increased make allowance, we're probably going to assume that, and some of the other changes in there, that your PPD is going to decrease a little bit. So that's going to be part of it. And then along with that, when you're just looking at milk marketing strategies and understanding, number one, understanding your cost of production when it comes into doing any type of milk marketing strategy. But right now, one that we're seeing swing more than what producers maybe are used to due to the PPD change, right, and some of the variance in there, but also due to the large swings that we're seeing right now in prices like butterfat, is the change in your basis. So instead of being used to that $4 basis, with producers being that much higher over the identity of Class 3 milk in terms of components, when the price of butterfat changes and you have that much more money that you're used to getting in your milk check from butterfat, when that decreases, your basis is going to be smaller too. So we're going to see bigger swings in basis, partially due to clients just having higher components now than we did 10 years ago, and then partially a little bit due to, probably a little less due to the FMMO changes.
Yeah, I was going to say just the environment that we're in is where that basis is really going to be decreasing versus where we were last year. And so we have gotten, I shouldn't say we have gotten used to a large basis. I am just challenging all the producers to refigure out with the values that we have today, where that basis is going to be, because that's going to have a huge difference on what type of Class 3 milk price we need to market at.
Steve, you have some clients in Michigan and obviously clients in Wisconsin. What are the expectations different in Michigan than Wisconsin than South Dakota in terms of the impact of the FMMO?
They will vary some.
Yeah.
And that is because of the amount of Class 1 that is in each one of those orders. So it will vary some. There's also the difference between Class 4 and Class 3 milk.
Yep.
That has an impact there. So in each order, we will be looking at it a little bit differently.
Changes. More changes. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what are the biggest things you're telling them to focus on? What is there? Do you have a story that you're going with, that this is, or is it farm dependent?
You know, our biggest story that we need to be telling producers is, number one, their cost of production has dropped over the last 2 or 3 years. And a big part of that reason that cost of production has dropped has been the influence of the beef price. Mm-hmm. When we start looking at what cull cows are bringing in for revenue now, what bull calves or crossbred calves are bringing in for revenue now, that has helped. I've done this on almost every producer. If we go back and we put cull cows at 650 and we put calves at 350 versus where they're at this year, their cost of production would go up by 2 to 250 a hundredweight.
Wow.
Just if we go back.
It's humbling.
So, you know, along with talking a lot about the importance of understanding our milk price and controlling that, is what are we doing on that other side with one of our greatest revenue sources in our beef byproducts, and are we protecting those sources of revenue also? So to me, that is a big thing, and I've always said, what if the black swan occurs and that goes away? Then where are we at? Have we protected ourselves as far out as we can on that side also to try and help us through 26?
That goes to some more risk products, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Exciting times ahead.
Paul,
Yeah.
we have no questions from the audience so far. I'm disappointed.
Come on.
Look
let's
at them
go.
out there. They're
Slido.
engaged, they're active,
You would think that they could figure out
someone
Slido.
out there has to
Or are they
have a
sleeping?
question. We're going to come to you if we don't get them in Slido. We're
Maybe
coming
we
out
answered
there.
them all.
We pull them on
No,
stage.
no.
At Alltech, we believe the people who work on your dairy aren't just employees. They're part of your culture, your team, and your success. Through People Plus, We work alongside you to ensure your team members are all on the same page, moving in the same direction, and fully aware of just how vital they are to the success of your business. These trainings are practical, farm-specific, and even fun, helping to build a stronger, more connected workforce. Because when your people are aligned, your dairy thrives. Alltech, working together for a planet of plenty.
All right, next we want to keep rolling.
We're going to roll
All right,
because this is a great part here.
I know. Because this is the time for the mailbag, but remember, you can show your DairyCAST pride with some great gear.
Yes, which we have been trying to sell on every episode.
How much have we sold?
To date, nothing.
Oh, come on. Somebody must have ordered.
No, we have not received one order for the bling to date. Unless someone wants something now.
Do you still have those ashtrays?
We do have the ashtrays, and if you'd like, the DairyCAST ashtrays got a phenomenal deal on them. I think we're going to have to give this stuff away, Paul.
Peggy,
How's your arm?
throw them out there. See if they can
If
catch.
you catch a T-shirt or a hat, you have to submit a question.
And you have to wear it. You have to wear it tomorrow.
Well,
Oh, nice one. There we go.
we go.
Excellent.
All right, I got a few. Who wants it? Who wants it? There we go.
oh, look at that. She
Wait,
has got an arm.
I got one. Somebody that just
Whoa,
ordered.
Whoa, somebody ordered?
Somebody named Angie said, "Hey guys, I would love a shirt."
She's right over there, I'll bet.
All right, great. Just send your credit card info,
Yeah,
and we will be ready to
we
go.
take cash.
It's a limited type item, so it's only like 40 a piece, I think, or something like that.
These are collector's items now.
All right. Okay, who wants it?
Great.
Now, I'm going to aim, but it could go anywhere.
It seems like she's a Vikings quarterback or
Yeah.
something.
Throws like a Vikings quarterback. Hey, and purple pride there. All right.
All right, time for our live mailbag. Normally we'd read questions from email, but today we're going to get straight from the room.
Straight from, and I do have one submitted.
All right, somebody found Slido.
Unbelievable, yeah. Okay, this is for both of you. With current milk prices, is it more profitable to feed calves whole milk or still use milk replacer?
Can't say I've done that analysis, Steve.
I think that really depends. There is still a lot of variance in milk replacer prices. I think on your operation, you also have to know how does disease, anything else, are there differences between whole milk and milk replacer? Are you seeing any difference there? Is there any difference in performance that you are receiving on your farm? We can do the economics, but I think there's a lot more to it than just straight economics that you look at.
What's your gut tell you, Paul?
Oh, I certainly do the math. Milk at $15 isn't the same as milk at $25.
That is correct.
And I'd be looking at that cost of that milk replacer and pushing hard on that margin. If milk goes down to $15, I'm hoping my milk replacer price goes down as well.
Yes.
So need to reevaluate.
That was helpful, wasn't it? Everybody?
The answer is it depends.
It depends.
Depends, yeah.
Right. Okay, this is the one near and dear to Steve's heart, I know. So it's straight to you. Which is the best metric to use when it comes to optimize milk components? Money-corrected milk or income over feed cost?
So money-corrected milk and income over feed cost, yes, we are looking at margins on both of them. Money-corrected milk, I have always struggled a bit with. And where I am struggling on this is each month that butterfat, that protein value is changing. And so by the time you know it, you're already in the next month. And so how fast are we going to change a ration? How much change do we want to make? And that's where I have always went back to using income over feed costs, using energy corrected milk, and then I will also look at it with a standardized milk price, just so we can actually truly compare month to month.
So income over feed cost per cow, per hundredweight?
Per cow.
Per cow.
Per cow. And why is that?
You own cows. Cows take up space in your barn. Hundredweights don't
They
take
don't.
up space in the barn.
Excellent.
That makes sense. All right. So when consulting with clients and evaluating profitability, what's the mindset out there? What do you see most often? Are people looking at profit per hundredweight of energy-corrected milk? Are they looking at profit per cow? Are they looking at profit per farm? What do you see people looking for out there?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, if they're working with us, I hope they're looking at multiple. So with any benchmark, there are limitations to each of the ones that you just listed, and I think really to get a whole picture at where the farm is sitting, where they're going, are they meeting their goals, we need to be looking at multiple of those. So for example, you talked, I believe you said profit per cow was the first one? Yeah, so profit per cow, that one we do often use in our annual benchmarks to compare from one herd to the next. Like Steve just talked about, you own the cow, so we do typically prefer profit per cow as opposed to a profit per hundredweight basis. And that one can be very simple for people to understand, right? It's a very simple calculation. And you have an understanding of what it means. It's very easy to compare from one herd to the next. I think another one that you mentioned was whole farm profitability.
Profit per farm, yeah.
Profit per farm, yeah. I'm not going to use that one necessarily to compare from one farm to the next. Obviously, the scale of farms is drastically going to change that. I am going to look at that one. Oftentimes, if I'm looking at some sort of expansion or a budget, we might lose in a year or two after the expansion a little bit of that profit per cow in the projection. But a lot of times what we will see is more total profits for the operation, right? So I'll be looking at that one then. And then one I don't think that you actually mentioned in there that we like to look at as well would be return on investment. And so that one can look a lot different. We might have the same profit per cow or be similar profit per cow from one dairy to the next, but one of those dairy might have half the assets that the other one does. So do you, from your goals and your standpoint, is that more worthwhile to you that out of the assets that you have and that you own, you're getting a greater return out of those assets than, say, maybe another dairy producer is? So I think you have to look at it from a holistic perspective. You can't just pick one benchmark.
Don't pick one.
Nope.
I also think it's important that we're looking at the cost side of things. We can have great profits, but if it's due to a totally elevated price or an abnormality that did occur during the year, do we really have our cost in line? Are we competitive? Are we gaining a competitive advantage over our peers? Or are we strictly going to look at it from profit?
And that takes out the variation of milk prices and what we're seeing happen with markets. So when we look from one year to the next across, like within the one client, a lot of times we'll look at cost of production.
Got it.
Steve, we're getting into a period this next quarter, this next half. It's going to be tight. You've been around and seen these dips before, once or twice. What's been successful for producers to tighten their belts? We've kind of been in a season of plenty. In the last few years, guys have made some money. So we're going into a season of not plenty. So what should they do? What's the places to look for savings?
Cut their feed cost.
Cut their feed costs. Yeah, that's good. Thanks.
There you go.
We appreciate that,
Yep.
Steve. Well, this is your one appearance, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
I knew there was going to be a little sass in that answer.
No, in reality, I think one of the biggest things that producers need to look at, and it has gotten better over the years, but we are slipping again in this area, is what is our turnover rate? What percent of the cows are leaving the herd? What's the quality of the cattle that are leaving? We're seeing a fair amount of variance in our cost of production just on herds and where their turnover rate is, where their death rate is at, what kind of value are they getting out of cows, how many of those cows are leaving during early lactation, how do we mitigate some of that cost and still have high milk performance?
Should I liquidate 5% of my herd because the beef prices are high?
Well, you can. I'm not going to say it's a good idea,
Okay.
because that's generally the toilet bowl
Yeah.
situation that you're getting into.
Excellent. Okay.
Steve, that's not where I thought you were going to take that one.
Straight to the toilet. Anyway, okay, what metrics do you look at on whether or not to purchase robots? And do you see cost savings on the farms you work with?
Oh, boy.
I'm going to let you answer first.
Knew we could stump them.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes,
Sorry.
I can. What metrics do you look at whether or not to purchase robots? And do you see cost savings on the farms you work with?
It is a loaded question, Steve. You have more robot herds than I do. I will say personally, I don't have a lot of clients that are looking at robots right now. I think especially as we're turning more cows through these parlors and stocking the barns fuller, that's been one deterrent probably from robots. The ability to maybe not get as many cows through a robot in those facilities is what we're able to do in the parlors. So that's kind of what I'm seeing is, if anything, the robot herds that I have are maybe veering a different direction now.
I would add on to that and say that from our analysis of what we've had with the robot herds, we have herds that vary from 8 robots to 24. All of them, other than one herd, also have a parlor, at least one parlor. And what we've been able to segment out on their operations and look at cost individualized between those two, I can't say that we have seen a cost advantage. I'm not going to say we've seen a disadvantage, but I can't say that we've seen a cost advantage in any of those operations right now. So I think coming back to it, I think it's really a question of capital. How much capital do you need in both types of situations? If you're going to milk 1,000 cows or 5,000 cows. I think along with that then is labor availability and how are you with managing labor and what works for you or what doesn't work for you. I also think that dealer service is huge in making these decisions. So to come up here or sit up here and make a blanket statement, I can't do that. I have to look at it individually.
Makes sense. Okay, here's another one. What are some nutritional, you can even answer this one.
All right, I'm ready.
Listen at you two. What are some nutritional, financially sound strategies to increase pounds of protein?
Some of these are basic. Feed availability, consistency of feed. You know, those are, they'll see simple, but I do see it on dairies where cows run out of feed or their feed isn't consistent. Components always go up when you have consistent TMRs day after day after day. Foragers are consistent, commodities are consistent, feeding strategies are consistent. I know that's simple and that seems like the basics, but that's where you want to start because that's the most profitable way to increase components in terms of protein. Yes, we can look at methionine levels, we can look at things like blood, we can look at other bypass proteins, and they all have their place, and we want to move that up. But there comes a point, and it's almost like there's a sigmoidal curve. I think it's sigmoidal, that pretty technical now. That you don't want to like push and get the maximum protein. I mean, we can go from a 3.4 on a farm, and we can push it to a 3.5 or a 3.6. But if we spend 30 cents to make 30 cents, I'm not sure we want to do that. And often, we need to do all the methionine and amino acid balancing that we can to push that protein level up, especially when it's worth more than fat. We just have to do that economically. Yep.
I would have to agree with everything that Paul has said. I really don't have a whole lot more to add to that.
All right. Nice job, Paul.
We're trying. We're
So
trying.
we'll keep you on for next year.
Yeah, good, thanks.
What percentage of clients are you seeing take part of risk management to help reduce this recent risk in low milk price? And do you see that growing?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I would say, I don't know, Steve, if I were to guess 75% at least. I think be close. But I think part of it is we're not trying to have clients jump in and out either. So if you look at, I was at a farm just a little while ago and they said, well, if you were to do something now, what would you do? Well, yeah, right now class 3 futures aren't so great. So that's where it comes in. If you're jumping in and out of milk marketing, it's hard to always catch and win.
I would agree with you, Gabriella, that we do have a good part of our clients that do have milk marketed. Unfortunately, I also believe that the amount that they have marketed is not 75 or 100%.
That's fair. I meant, number of clients with something.
So as we look at the first half of the year, I would say that they're probably on average 50% with a floor price protected. Not too many. There are some with some actual contracts, but very few. As we get to the third quarter, we're probably down to 20 to 25% of the milk, and then it's even less for the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And I think the other thing that I would just add on there is I think we've gotten very comfortable just using DRP as our protection tool. I think there are other tools that we need to pull out of the toolbox again and look at, because I think in some situations there is better ways to protect their milk than DRP.
So what advice are you giving your clients that aren't using any risk management programs?
Get started.
Call somebody.
And that may sound really basic and stupid at the same time, but we can hear all these people talk, we can hear advisors, but until you pull the trigger and start doing it, you really don't understand what is going on. And the only way to really gain knowledge is to actually be in it.
Steve, I think about the successful producers that I know, and they may not all have everything locked in, but they've got something, right?
Yes.
They know that if they want to survive, they remember 2009, right? Or I think it was 2009, right?
Yes, it was.
2009, they remember that year. And I hope 2026 isn't like 2009, but we should never forget that year, right? And that's
Exactly
why
right.
we stay in the game. Yeah.
Exactly. 2000, 2009, I remember them all very well.
Yeah. Tough years. Tough years.
So I got one last question. Have you seen any profit differences in farms that have straight Holsteins compared to crossbreeds such as Holstein Jersey crosses?
Sample size is limited, Steve. This one's on you.
So I am going to, people are probably going to hate me in this room.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be great. Looking forward to it, Steve. Let's bring it on.
Get the raincoats out.
Yes.
Over the last 15 years, I would say if we go back 15 years ago, there was a lot of talk about crossbreeding compared to what just as the Holstein was doing at that point in time, whether it be the components we were getting out of that cow, whether it be the longevity we were getting out of that cow. There were a lot of things that we really weren't super excited about in the straight Holstein. And there was a lot of things that we were seeing in the Jersey cattle that made us lean towards having some crossbreeding in the herd. As we fast forward to the last 5 years, and you start looking at the combined pounds of butterfat and protein that we are getting out of an animal, right now, last year we were over 7 pounds of combined butterfat and protein on every one of the herds we worked with. This year we are on pace for even better than that. Sorry, but I don't have any crossbred herds that are doing that. And it still comes, I know it's about income or feed costs and so forth, but when you put all the numbers together and you put the beef price on there and the calf value, I'm back as a black and white herd.
You know, Steve, I think your point is a good one, that when we look at Holsteins 15 or 20 years ago, and I'll go back
Right.
a little bit farther,
Right.
you know, calving ease on Holsteins was 10%
Yes.
calving difficulties. Repro was 18% preg rates, right?
At
And
best.
at best, right? And now we talk about 40% for preg rates. We talk about all calving ease being, you know, not a problem. So it's become muddled, you know.
Yes.
Holsteins giving 4/8 butterfats, you know, and we just talked about that maybe be too high, but the answer's gotten more muddled in the last 5 years. I mean, things have really changed.
Yes.
How about on the flip side of that, though? Do you have any Jersey herds that are now crossing Holstein in?
So I do have one very large, or it had been very large Jersey herd. It is all going to crosses now, bringing some Holstein back in, knowing their components are going to come down some, but
Maybe.
getting that additional pounds of fluid, pounds of energy-corrected milk.
Thank you.
One more quick question
Yeah.
came in. Will there be consolidation within the cheese and milk processors?
I can't say that there won't be. Why would the cheese industry, milk industry be any different than the dairy industry, than the shoe industry, than the car industry?
Ditto.
Ditto.
All right.
All right, thank you.
That's our Q&A, our listener mailbag. Thanks for the questions, everybody. Appreciate you submitting those.
All right, well, I think it's time for the fun segment.
Yes.
All right, this is normally the time where we bring in a
Moose
dairy
guest. Yeah.
This time.
But this time, we're doing something a little different.
That's right. We have had so many questions about what really happens behind the scenes of Ahead of the Herd. So we figured, why not show you?
Let's just say episode 5 had more than a few creative takes.
Yeah, creative breakdowns, Paul. Remember when you couldn't say methane mitigation 3 times?
I still can't. I don't know. I think it pulled a hamstring or something on that one.
We have had it all. We have had literal mic drops. We have had surprise cameos by barnflies. And I think we all discovered just how much King likes white powdered sugar covered donuts.
Love me
So,
a
so
donut.
instead of our usual mystery guest, we're going to have a short blooper roll from filming days. But, you know, if we can't laugh at ourselves, we're missing the best part.
And if you've ever tried to record a podcast in a storage garage in August, you'll feel right at home.
And let me tell you, it was a memorable trip to Sheldon, Iowa. All right, we're going to let you in on what that looked like. Go ahead and take a look at the screen.
Thursday morning, rock and roll.
What's he want?
Bloopers.
Bloopers?
Wait till you see King. Wait till you see King.
Who's that wearing that nasty dress?
Wait till you see King in a Speedo.
Who's that wearing that nasty suit?
Can I
It
just-
kind of sounded like that. Woo-doo. Cheese, glorious cheese,
Preferably sharp
so rich and delicious.
Can you cut that King out again, please? Please, he doesn't
Just
stop
mute
talking.
him whenever he talks.
Yeah.
You can't hold me back forever, Paul. All right, energy, Paul.
Let's go, let's go.
All right, yeah. Sorry. You go up to the drive-through and go,
If you're not interested in the hat or the shirt,
we've got these ashtrays. You get a special deal on them. This fly is going to drive me crazy.
for just the jokes.
there, he's right there, he's right there.
Got to do something.
Fly is killing me.
Just found some jokes on dairy farm fly jokes.
The short-term and long-term strategy. Short-term, big fly swatter.
Big fly swatter.
That's what we need, one like this big.
Yes.
Is there fly swatter?
I was gonna do that because look at that. It's a lot of
Zero.
place there. Airport for flies.
There's some fly droppings right
Landing
here.
strip right up. That's really funny. Oh, I get it.
Today is someone who lives and breathes dairy nutrition strategy. Marty Faldette. Marty, welcome to the show.
Marty, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, King and Paul. I'm glad to be here.
Hey. Same energy, same thing, but from the back there. We'll cue you in
Don't
again.
boss me around, man. Don't.
Share this with your fellow dairy folks, please.
Please. And we'll see you next time when we tackle another big topic. Corrections anyway.
Yeah.
Isn't this your part, King?
Oh.
Have a very fun moostery guest in store for you today that you won't want to miss. Now let's turn it over to our GPS DairyCAST host. Let's hear for King Hickman and Paul Dyke. Take it away.
Can we stop? We don't have a Moose Street guest this episode.
For the grand prize of King's half-eaten bag of mini powdered sugar
Yes.
donuts.
Oh no, where's my donuts? And I know donuts.
Well, King, you have now won this half-eaten bag of mini powdered sugar-covered donuts.
Yes.
Ready?
All right. All right. Thank you.
You can fit that whole thing in there at once.
What's next, Paul?
I don't know. I don't have any donuts. Where am I? Maybe we can buy some. I can have some as I go home.
It's a wrap.
Where's my donuts? You still haven't given me any.
Would you like a donut, Paul?
Yes, please, just one donut.
Should I give him a donut?
Thank you. Donuts.
Donut?
Thank you so much.
Well, we may have
Not
donuts,
too
but
bad for them.
sorry to say, folks, but we are fresh out of the GPS DairyCAST ashtrays that King mentioned. No ashtrays.
I've not finished my
Said
donut.
we're
Well, professionalism has left the building.
Yes, it has.
But all jokes aside, we've had a blast putting this series together, and we sure hope that you've enjoyed it too.
We have special thanks for our guest today.
Oh no.
Whoa.
Mystery Boostery Prize.
Moostery
Scared
prize.
it's the poster up there.
Oh, look at this. This is going to be great.
Steve gets his very own life
Look at-
size,
Oh, no.
bigger than life.
Oh, they're going to put this up on their wall in their kitchen.
Yeah, this is going in the office, right? Gabriella gets one for herself.
Wow.
And
Oh, her husband's going to want to keep
Peggy's
that.
been a great sport. She's going to get one too.
Oh, look at that, Peggy.
All right.
Your kid's going to love that.
So thanks to Gabriella Hodek and Steve Bodart from AgriGrowth Solutions for joining us on this episode. This is a wrap for episode 6.
Well, big thanks to our production crew, our guests, and every listener who's been along for the ride. Thank you for the guests today. Yay! Thank you.
And especially our sponsor, Alltech. Give them a round of applause. We couldn't have done this without their help. And I think we're going to be back soon with some more insights, some more episodes, and probably some more bloopers, right, Peggy?
Can't wait. Can't wait for the donuts.
That is right. And until then, keep on growing, keep on laughing, and as always,
Stay ahead of the herd.
Well, now you've seen what really happens behind the scenes when we're trying to film an episode of Ahead of the Herd. And let's be honest here, the blooper reel might be a more accurate picture of what life is like on a dairy podcast. But we thank you for joining us for this last episode in the Ahead of the Herd series, where we tackle real world challenges with real world strategies and have a few laughs along the way. Today was about staying profitable in a changing marketplace, and a big thanks to Steve and Gabriella for bringing their insights and energy to the table on behalf of AgriGrowth Solutions. Until next time, I'm Peggy Coffeen. Stay curious, stay connected, and we'll catch you next time on, say it with me, folks, Ahead of the Herd. That's a wrap.
Thanks for joining us.
At Alltech, partnership is at the heart of everything we do. Because we know the best solutions come when we work side by side with dairy producers like you. That's the foundation of our Forage Plus program. Together, we evaluate forage quality from field to the feed bunk, using our on-farm analytical tools like advanced aerial inventory measurements and detailed mycotoxin testing. By combining the knowledge of your herd with our team's expertise, we can uncover key opportunities to optimize your forage and feed programs. Our goal is simple: to make every acre, every bunk, and every bite work harder for your cows and for your business. Because when your forage is maximized, your dairy is too. Alltech, working together for a planet of plenty.